Hello, Hawks fans, and welcome to the Atlanta Sports District. I'm your host, Russell Spence, and I am here bringing you episode 4. I'm excited for our topic today. It should be a lot of fun. Today, as I said yesterday, I am planning on talking about the G League and the importance of the G League. And so what we're going to talk about today, first of all, is the purpose of the G League. And then we're going to move to the types of players that I look for to get in a G League system. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about the players that I think are going to be in the G League this year and what we can expect for them to be working on, for them to improve at. And I also want to spend just a small amount of time talking about players that are former G Leaguers that currently play for the Hawks and the things that they did in the G League to make them be ready to play for our wonderful Atlanta Hawks franchise. So let's get started. The G League, originally when it was started, was called the D League, the Developmental League. That was the purpose of it. When Quinn Snyder coached there, it was called the D League. And so Gatorade, they bought the naming rights to it and renamed it the G League, but it's still the same exact thing. It's for development. So we shouldn't be too concerned about the record of our G League team. We should be doing things that help us to get better. We should be playing players that we want to get better in the G League. Not so much worrying about who's the best player right now, worrying about who we want to be the best player in a year, in 2 years, etc. So, that being said, what kind of players are you expecting to see be on your G League roster? I can't give a full roster breakdown yet because nobody's announced the roster officially yet. When they do, and it's on the NBA G League website, and I can see the players that are there and the ones that are actually signed and are going to play for our team, I will bring you a video that talks about what each player's role is going to be in this pantheon of thinking about how the G League should be run. But similar to two-way players, there are two types of G Leaguers. One, young guy that you think can become something. That's one. Two, veteran who can help other players to become something. That's it. So I'll take, for instance, like last year we had Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley is an NBA veteran who's worked for many years, is a good player who just happened to not be on an NBA roster. I don't know why. The Indiana Pacers didn't know why and gave him a wonderful contract. And he played in their playoff run. So in terms of that, that's the kind of players we're looking for in terms of veterans. We're looking for players that are able to help and teach these young players what it is to be an NBA player. What do you do? What do you need to get better at? And how can we achieve that improvement? That's one type of player. The other one is these developmental pieces where you go, he's not ready yet. But there's these flashes of this guy could be really something. He could be an NBA player, like a really good NBA player. And so let's dive into him. Let's pour into him. And let's get those flashes to be consistent until that's the player he is. So on our team right now, you're probably sitting here going, Russell, it doesn't matter. The G League doesn't matter. Those players stink. Well, let me tell you about a few players that are currently on our roster that play or are projected to play significant minutes for our team this year that were developed in our G League system in College Park. First of all, it's Jalen Johnson. I mean, he just got this huge contract last year. I'm talking about if he keeps playing like this, he's going to be all-star, all-NBA. I mean, this kind of player. We developed him in the G League. When we drafted him 20th overall out of Duke, he was a very talented player. He was very athletic. He moved well, beautiful movement skills. But he was not the kind of ball handler and passer he is today. Then, he developed those skills in the G League working on his game. He wasn't the kind of defender he is now. Then he had to completely and totally rebuild his defensive game because it was brutal. Go back and watch some of his defensive tape at Duke. It's bad. It's not very many games, but it was bad. And he developed into a very good NBA defender in our College Park system, working in the, oh, these players they're not good enough to be in the NBA. That system built Jalen Johnson. He would not be the player he is today if he hadn't spent those 2 years in the G League. That is so undervalued. Most people that are Hawks fans probably don't even remember that Jalen played in the G League. But I do. I remember watching every one of Jalen's games when he was in the G League and going, this guy, if he keeps working like this, he's going to be so special. And I'm right, because he did keep working like that, and he's still working like that. And that's the kind of thing that shows me what kind of player you're going to be in the long run. Another player, Vít Krejci. Vít Krejci was being cut by this team and that team and this, and he gets signed on to our College Park system, and he can't shoot. He's a great ball handler and passer and doing some of the point guard things, but he's a horrible defender. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't even see him ever being an NBA player. I was not in the Vít Krejci fan club. And he completely proved everyone wrong. He developed into where over the past few seasons he's been over a 40% three-point shooter. He's aggressive with his shot. He hunts for his jumper. He still has the ball handling and the passing and the movement skills. He even developed into a pretty decent defender. I mean, he's a little thin against forwards, but against guards, I would say he's above average as a defender. And so I'm going, he turned into a guy who last year on a pretty quality basketball team, where if we would have had Jalen healthy, we would have been well over 500. On that team, he played pretty much every game. He was healthy the whole year. If he was healthy, he was in the rotation. Go back and watch it. It's people forget, but he played a huge key role on that team. And so that's another player that we got quality NBA minutes, and we're going to get quality NBA minutes out of for years because of his development in our G League system. Looking forward, also we've got players like Mo Gay. Mo Gay, when he was playing at Washington State, this may be funny to some of you, but they ran their entire offense through Mo Gay. When he was drafted, we thought, as Hawks fans, we were getting this guy who could make a mid-range jumper, and he could attack off the dribble and take these crazy things, and he was making threes, and he looked like he was going to be superly offensively skilled. And I go, oh man, this is so great. We got this new offensive power forward, and he's going to be able to play alongside Jalen and all this stuff, and that's what we thought we were getting. But he got to the G League, and people told him, you got to defend. And what he did was he developed into an amazing defender. I think he's a top 2 or 3 defender on our whole team right now. And you're sitting there going, that player was a horrible defender coming out of Washington State, but he developed that in our G League system, working hard in our G League system. That's the kind of effort and work that is special. I think our G League system is very special. From what I see of other people's G League systems, watching them when I watch the SkyHawks, and then watching ours, other teams aren't doing what we're doing down there. It's like an NBA player factory. We're building players down there. Another player is Keaton Wallace. I mean, he just got upgraded to a full contract, but he's played for years in our G League system and has gotten better. I still don't think he is a rotation level player, but he has gotten better in our G League system. That's just another success story. So when you look and you say, what's the purpose of the G League? It's to build players like Jalen, build players like Vít, build players like Mo. These players that we think are going to be able to help our team to be a winning basketball culture for years to come, Those players are built in our G League and they're cheap. So now let's move to talking about the players I think are going to spend a ton of time in our G League this year and what to look for in terms of development, what they should be working on, and what I think they're going to be working on, what you're going to see them try to incentivize for these players. I'm going to start with probably the most notable, and that's Asa Newell. We just spent our 23rd overall pick that we got in the New Orleans Pelicans trade, that absolutely insanely good trade for the Hawks, to move down and draft him 23rd overall out of the University of Georgia. I talked about in our player breakdown that I really like Asa in the paint. I think he's got a lot of skill, a lot of nuance. He's good at using the rim as his friend. He finds a bunch of different angles. He's a really good finisher in the paint. Offensively, that's what he's good at. He's going to need to take, make, and hunt for his three-point shot. He has got to develop a three-pointer because he does not have a lot of the ball handling and passing skills that Jalen has. Maybe he can improve on that similarly to the way Jalen did, but I would like to see him develop a jump shot because he kind of already shows the ability to make some jumpers in his college tape. So let's get him shooting the ball with some effectiveness. Let's get him shooting the ball often. If he's open, he needs to shoot it with no hesitation. If he goes over 13, it's fine. As I said, we're not worried about winning games down there. We're worried about developing these players. So we've got to get Asa comfortable taking, making, and hunting his jump shot on offense. That's his offensive game that we need to improve. Defensively, he's pretty good at the backside rim protection stuff, but I would like to see him get better. But defensively, he's got to get stronger, be able to defensive rebound a lot better, and he needs to drastically improve his defensive movement skills. He needs to be able to move his feet better. He needs to be able to play up to touch better. He needs to be able to switch better. If he gets put on a guard, it doesn't need to be death. If he can develop where he can switch and move his feet, get a little bit stronger, work in the weight room, be able to board and rebound and fight a little bit better where he's got some strength to him, and he can develop his three-point shot, you could see him making a huge impact as early as next season. He's a very talented player. But those are the things that we need Asa to work on. Another player is Nikola Jurisic. Offensively, it's pretty similar. Just take and make threes. Let's get a little more loft on the shot. Let's get a little more height to your jumping when you're vertical when you're shooting. Let's get a little bit better rotation on the ball. Let's see the ball go in more from three. In terms of attacking and playing off the dribble and playing off the catch and playing in the pick and roll and passing, all that stuff, Nikola Jurisic, very good. NBA level player right now on all those skills I just named. But in terms of shooting, he needs to improve the overall metrics of the jump shot. A lot of people think like, oh, I'll just shoot a bunch of shots and my shot will get better. No, if you want your shot to get better, you need to improve the aspects of the shot. You need to be on balance. Your arm needs to be in a free-flowing and natural motion. Your wrist needs to create a lot of rotation in the ball. There needs to be loft in the shot to raise the probability that it goes in. You need to get a higher vertical to allow there to be more loft so that the ball has a higher probability of going in. You watch somebody like Steph Curry, the reason why his shot has a really high probability of going in because it has a lot of loft on the angle of that shot. Jurisic, right now his three is very flat. Let's improve that. Defensively, Jurisic needs to compete. That's it. He's got the movement skills. He's pretty strong for a guard. And he's going to be guarding most of the guards. But he just needs to give a better effort on that floor part of the floor more consistently. And so I think playing alongside players like Lamont Butler, who gives a ton of effort all the time. Even we saw last year with him playing next to Jarkel Joyner, just that short stint of time he had in the G League last year because he was coming back from injury, you saw his effort improve, but it needs to go like the extra mile. His conditioning's got to get better. He's got to play harder on the defensive end. And that, I think, will fix the problem. I think it's an effort issue. And that's coming from a person who legitimately is the biggest Nikola Jurisic fan on planet Earth. Find me another Atlanta Hawks fan who says their favorite Atlanta Hawk is Nikola Jurisic. I'm probably the only one. But even me, a person who loves him to death, loves his game, thinks he's going to be a really, really, really good player in the NBA. I look at him, I go, you got to play harder on defense. You can't be a turnstile. So let's see how he improves. Let's watch it. And I'll give you updates throughout the year on seeing, hey, was it better? Was the effort better? If not, you might see him struggle to earn some minutes. But if the effort really improves and he looks really good on that end of the floor, watch out for Nikola Jurisic. Next player that I want to talk about, we're going to move past Keaton Wallace because apparently we're going to be playing him in the NBA. And we're going to move past N'Faly Dante because I think he's an NBA level third center right now. And even though I do think he might play some to keep him fresh in the G League, I don't think it'll be as much as I maybe assumed when I made my first video. Mainly because I don't think that they want to play Mo at center. And so I think they're going to keep, just in case there's foul trouble or there's an injury that happens, and Dante will be on the bench for the Hawks a good bit. So the next guy I want to talk about is Eli John Njai. What I want to see is him acclimate to the American game. I want to see how well he's able to put the ball on the floor. I want to see how well he's able to attack a closeout. How well are you able to force a player to close out? How well is your jump shot going? You know, let's just see how well offensively he's able to acclimate to an American game. If it goes well, he's really good on defense today. If I had to pick a player between him and Asa to guard somebody, it's an end of a game possession, and we just need somebody go in, we're just gonna put the 5 best defenders on the floor. I would get to Eli John Njai before I got to Asa Newell right now. I think he's pretty great on that end of the floor. So let's just see how he acclimates to American offense because it's different. I mean, he's never experienced a pick and roll heliocentric style offense before. How's he gonna do? How's his pick and roll game with Nico? How's his pick and pop game? Is he able to learn these things? Is he able to do these skills? That's what I want to see. And I think that in the G League, he will have a lot of reps. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes because I think he kind of matches the identity of our team. Our team plays really hard defense. Has for years. And so I think that he will match with that identity. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes. If he plays a lot of minutes, I think he's going to get a lot of reps. Let's see how he acclimates. He might acclimate really well, and then you go next year, he might be ready to play some minutes in the NBA. Or it might be a struggle, and you say he needs another year down in the G League doing these things. I don't know. But let's see. I hope it goes well. So, next thing I would like to talk about is I want to talk about Lamont Butler. What do we want to see from Lamont Butler? Defensively, I think he's going to be just fine. Don't need to see any improvement. Just be Lamont Butler. Offensively, I think he's good at the point guard stuff. I think he's going to get people into the right actions. Let's see you consistently make jumpers. Let's have him be a 40% three-point shooter. If he gets to be a 40% three-point shooter, that's a player who has to be guarded in the NBA. That's helpful because he's a good ball handler and passer. Got to be guarded in that way. Needs to be able to shoot. Spread the floor in 2 of the 3 ways. Again, he's 6 foot tall. You're not throwing him a lob, or he's not dunking on your face. He's not going to stand in the dunker spot. He's going to be a player who can only spread the floor with the jump shot and with the passing ability. But we see players like Trae Young. He only spreads the floor those 2 ways, but he spreads the dadgum floor. So let's see that from Lamont Butler. I just want to see, let's shoot the ball, and let's shoot the ball with a high number of attempts at a high clip. Let's do the best we can. If he can't, he might fall a little behind in his projection of when he's going to play in the NBA. But if he's making jumpers, that guy's an NBA level talent. Next, I want to move on to Kobe Johnson. For Kobe Johnson, I want to see nothing change defensively as well. He's an NBA level defender today, right now. No questions asked. So, offensively, what would you like to see? Well, he's a great athlete. He will dunk on your head, so he can spread the floor vertically. But he does leave some to be desired in terms of ball handling and passing. So, let's see that improve the same way it did in your brother. Let's work on that stuff. Let's become a better ball handler. Let's become a second point guard on the floor when you're on the floor. And let's improve the jump shot. You gotta take, make, and hunt your jumper. And if you're missing, shoot him. If you're making, shoot him. If you missed your last 100, shoot him. If you made your last 100, shoot him. I don't care. Hunt, take, and make your jumper. If you can't do that, you won't be guarded in the NBA. And wings who are not guarded at the three-point line do not play. Unless you're like Jalen. You're 6'10" and a freight train that's unstoppable in the paint. Kobe does not have that luxury. Shoot the basketball with high intensity, high reps, high success rate, and you'll play. Don't do that, and you will not. So, that's what we want to see. Improve the ball handling and passing, take, make, and hunt your jump shot. The last player that I'd like to talk about tonight is Javon Johnson, however you exactly say it. Again, defensively, I think he is an NBA-ready prospect today. Offensively, it's very similar to Kobe. You need to improve and be another point guard on the floor. Got to be able to handle the ball, got to be able to pass the ball at a very high clip. And let's see you take, make, and hunt your jumpers. If they both can do that, they both can be NBA level players in the Nickeil Alexander-Walker role in the NBA within a few seasons. But you have to be able to prove that you can basically play point guard like Naw can and shoot the ball with effectiveness consistently, taking a high number of attempts, getting the ball up every time you're open, and making it at a very high clip every time you're open. So that's our players. We start our season on November the 7th. And generally, I think as Hawks fans, we all need to be watching these games. Watch the G League. It's good basketball. I know you probably do not believe me, but give it a shot. It's good basketball. And there are players down there that matter to the Atlanta Hawks' future. They just do. It might not be everybody I talked about tonight. There might not be every single one of these players ends up being a great player for the Hawks. 2 of them probably are, though. 3 of them probably are, though. Maybe even 4. If 4 of these players come in and make a difference and help us continue to get better and improve and win games, don't you want to be the people who saw the progression and saw them get better and you've been supporting them for years? Let's be those people. So, the best way to watch them is very hard to explain. I've watched every single game. It's really weird. Sometimes they're streamed on the NBA G League app. When that happens, they go to YouTube. It's just on YouTube. And so you go download the G League app on your phone, and it'll pop up the game, and then you just click on it, and there's it'll pop a little screen in the YouTube or in the G League app, and then you can click on the little YouTube icon and you can cast it to your TV. That's what I always do. And so it's very simple and easy to do. That's when it's through the G League app. Sometimes it's through ESPN Plus. So if you have an ESPN subscription or an ESPN Plus subscription, you can get the game and you can just put it through your ESPN app on your television. And thirdly, sometimes it will be on Roku TV, I believe, is the third option. And so whenever you go to the Roku TV app, it's free, and you just go to like live sports. There's a live tab, and you can click on live sports, and then one of the first things that'll pop up is called NBA G League TV, and it'll play the game there. When you are looking for that, that's completely free. So the ones that are through YouTube, completely free. The ones that are through the G League TV thing is completely free, and then ESPN Plus is paid. So you can watch most of the games for the SkyHawks this season for completely free. Why wouldn't you do it? So all of that being said, let's take time. Everybody that is watching this and cares about anything about the G League, download the G League app. You can click on every single game in the schedule, and it will tell you like where to watch, and it'll say like this one's going to be on ESPN Plus, or this one's going to be on the G League app. And so then you can just know which one you have to do the day of. Basically, that's what I do every morning. That I know that there's a G League game, I get up, I look on the app, I go, oh, it's on the G League app today. Super simple. So that's how I watch every game. I recommend everybody else do the same. It's pretty great and pretty convenient. So going into this season, let's see if these players improve. If you want to keep hearing a random guy who really enjoys the Hawks, hasn't missed a game in 13 years, hasn't missed the SkyHawks game in 4, if you want to see that guy and you want to hear what he has to say about the Hawks and what he thinks and his musings on what's going on in the specifically Hawks world, go ahead and give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscription, do all the YouTube stuff. I don't love asking for it, but it would really help to get the word out there. My goal is to have an impassioned part of the fan base that also thinks about all the things that are happening from top to bottom, from man 1 to man 30, every single person in the front office, every single person in the ownership group, everything. I think about it all and I look at it analytically, but coming from a place as an impassioned fan who really, really wants the best for the Atlanta Hawks organization. If you match up with that and you want to be a person who is, deeply knowledgeable about everything that's happening, man 1 to man 30, top to bottom, everybody. If you want to be that person, go ahead and subscribe and we can talk about it. Ask me questions in the comments. We can discuss and we can go back and forth about what's going on for this basketball team and how it can continue to improve and move in the right direction. So with that being said, have a great day.